of them was a small passage which was about how certain forbidden techniques were inherited by the next generations. The passage is called Inherited from Master to Disciple, Secret Story of the Creation of Forbidden Ninjutsu. According to this passage, Flying Thunder God technique, impure world reincarnation, and so on, regardless of the difficulty in their mastery and operation, continue to be handed down for generations to come. Such high-ranking ninjutsu were created by a certain expert in jutsu development. It was the second Hokage, Senju Tobirama. Tobirama's developed jutsu were later inherited by a disciple, a user whose name was Rising. Namikaze Minato improved the mastery of Hiraishin no Jutsu, and thus took the nickname the Yellow Flash. The excellent jutsu was refined according to the disciple, who evolved it together with the era. I think this statement confirms that Minato and Tobirama weren't the only users of the Flying Thunder God technique. According to the 4th Naruto databook, Tobirama's forbidden techniques were later inherited by his disciple, whose name was Rising, and we all know who that ninja was. It was none other than Hiruzen Sarutobi. We know that Hiruzen was trained rigorously by the 1st and 2nd Hokage. He was also known as a professor for his knowledge and usage of ninjutsu. In the 1st Naruto databook, it is also stated that he could use any technique. In Naruto chapter 120 and the 4th Naruto databook, he is reputed for his advanced knowledge and skill in the use of all techniques to ever exist within Konoha, including the many hidden techniques. Another passage from the 4th Naruto databook also confirms that Hiruzen was a teacher of Minato. The passage is named as Kages and Traditions Handed Down in All Villages. According to this passage, in the village of Konoha, as a tradition, for generations the ones who become Hokage have their faces carved on the Hokage rock. The stone faces of the successive generations are the symbol of the harmony and the public peace of the village of the Hidden Leaf, and they are the objects of the villagers' esteem. The 1st and the 2nd were full brothers, and Tsunade, the 5th, is the 1st's granddaughter. Moreover, the 3rd with the 1st, and the 2nd and the 4th with the 3rd, had a teacher-student relationship. So due to all of that, I think it is quite clear that Hiruzen was also a user of the Flying Thunder God technique, and he was the one who taught Minato the technique that would later earn him the nickname of Yellow Flash. I think Hiruzen was teaching Minato from a young age, since he was always looking for a prodigy who would change the world. For example, when he was Orochimaru's teacher, he saw a hope. He thought that Orochimaru was the one who would change the world for the better, because of the fact that he was born with a superhuman talent, and although he also saw that there was a malice in his heart, he decided to support him unconditionally because his desire to improve the ninja world was great. So when Minato showed up, Jiraiya must have told Hiruzen about Minato and how he could be the boy from the prophecy, how he was very talented, was super smart, and how big of a will of fire he had. I think this would make Hiruzen excited, and he approached Minato very soon. Beside that, Minato as a kid was gaining fame in the village. For example, he got the highest score in the entire history of the 1st stage of the Chunin exams, and prevented Jonin from the Cloud Village from taking Kushina Uzumaki, who was the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, among other things. And in such a way, we could say that Hiruzen approached Minato very early and prepared him to be his successor. I would love to see Hiruzen training Minato. We have rarely seen Minato in his childhood, and I think the only time we have seen him as a kid was in Kushina's flashback. But in that scene, Kushina was the center of attention, not Minato. He appeared from time to time, but had very limited screen time. It is such a shame that we never got to see a Minato spin-off, since in 2010, if I remember correctly, Masashi Kishimoto said that he was thinking about doing a spin-off about Minato Namikaze, where he will be much younger and was intending to draw Minato as a child. But this idea stayed as an idea, and we have yet to see any update on that. Personally, after Boruto's story is concluded, I hope we will see Minato Gaiden. It would be a very good opportunity to show us a lot of interesting things about the Naruto world. We could finally see characters like Sakumo Hatake and Prime Hiruzen in action. Also, it would be nice to see Jiraiya as a leader of his own team. Now that we're talking about Team Jiraiya, I would really love to see its members. We know that every student of Jiraiya was an S-class ninja, and I doubt that those two were different. It would also be nice to see Minato learning Sage Mode and his personal training from Jiraiya and Hiruzen. I think in Minato Gaiden, we would also be able to see Minato's family and parents. Now let's talk about Tobirama Senju and why he created this technique in the first place. We know that Tobirama has created a lot of techniques in Naruto, and when you think about it, he made most of them to counter Uchihas. For example, he was probably the strongest water style user in the series, which is the chakra nature that is dominant over fire release, the chakra nature that Uchihas are the most proficient in. Also, shadow clones, which are not distinguishable by Sharingan, are made by him. And I guess Flying Raijin is not an exception either. He created this technique to counter the Uchiha's Sharingan. It was shown very well in his fight against Izuna, where Izuna was unable to read Tobirama's movements with his Sharingan, since the Sharingan can't read your movements if you teleport. There is no in-between from here to there, you just disappear and reappear. Also, in the series, we were hearing from time to time how Minato improved the Flying Thunder God technique, but when we saw Minato and Tobirama, who were using this technique in the Fourth Great Ninja World War, there weren't really any differences between the usage of Flying Thunder God technique. I think the technique remains unchanged, except that Minato uses his own distinct formula, as we can see it in Naruto chapter 641, when Minato and Tobirama used Flying Thunder God mutually instantaneous revolving technique against Obito. We can see that they call this technique different names. Tobirama calls it reciprocal round robin, and Minato calls it Flying Raijin technique. Also, the ceiling markings are different from each other as well. Otherwise, though, you can't improve the technique. Instant is instant. You can't go any faster than that. The technique's operation remains the same too. The difference between Tobirama and Minato's Flying Thunder God is their usage. Like Tobirama, he developed his own sub-ninjutsu from it, like Hiraishin Dorai. Anyway, I guess this is all for today. What do you think about Minato Namikaze and the Flying Thunder God?
Kraft Real Mayonnaise, made with eggs from right here in the Midwest. Real good ingredients, real good taste.
From relieving roughness to soothing skin, there's before and then there's Aquaphor.
The Uzumaki clan has been one of the most popular and mysterious clans in the series. It was a very powerful clan that could rival even the Uchiha and the Senju. Despite Naruto being the member of this clan, he seems very distant from it, and it looks like he's never really used his clan's techniques. But this is not true, and today I want to talk about the times when Naruto used his clan's techniques. But before starting, I want to ask y'all to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more. I hope y'all have a great day. Now let's get started. A lot of characters in Naruto had their own unique powers that were a trademark to their clans. For example, Sasuke was using his clan's Kekkei Genkai, the Sharingan. Inoshi Kacho were using their clan's hidden techniques. Neji and Hinata were using the Byakugan, and so on. It was very cool to see different characters using different abilities that were the trademark of their families.
Now I'm about to show y'all how color can change the whole arc. Yeah, look how it looks now.
There was one character who did not possess any ability that was unique to him or his clan members, and that character was none other than Naruto Uzumaki himself, the main character of the series. Well, this is understandable because